All right, back on the Second Swing Thoughts podcast with Tyler Fitzel to talk about some Mizuno irons, new here in 2025. Mizuno just this week released and announced the Mizuno JPX 925 forged irons in the Mizuno Pro S-3. So I don't know how much you've gotten a chance to look at these or hit them. The JPX 925 forged seems like it's pretty exciting because I think it really looks like a compact iron for something in that player's distance category.
Yeah, it is. And we talk about the technology that a lot of these companies try to advance. One of the cool things about Mizuno, or that I like anyway, is it's not just kind of an iron every year. They're trying to put together pieces of technology that have been traditional in their lineups for a little while. And so the forged is the JPX forged, regardless of the number of it, has been around for quite some time. I remember JPX, like JPX 800 forged, or 900, etc.
Yeah, I don't even remember all the numbers. I know there was 800, there was 850, I think 900 or
900,
something. I don't know exactly what they all were,
but when we start looking at it, what they're doing is they're trying to take things that are working and keep refining them. And the 925 JPX forged is a perfect example of this blend of all of the different types of technologies that have been very successful.
Yeah.
So I love the look. It is compact, as you mentioned. It's not quite as bulky in certain areas. It really it comes off hot. It's got a really nice crisp feel. It's the Mizuno, and of course, as their tagline would say, nothing feels like a Mizuno. But it's also got some other technologies in it that help along that way, like the tri-cut sole that they've got, and that's huge for turf interaction. It also has some of the harmonics to it. So they actually have positioning in the cavity so that it doesn't sound kind of hollow or really clicky. It's a little bit more muted, so the sound is a little bit softer along with the material that they're using. And they're using the forged as a whole one-piece forging yet. So it's not like they're trying to kind of slap different pieces and parts together and blend it together. The whole chassis, the body, the face, the neck is all still a forging.
Yeah.
But it's mixed with what they call chromalloy. And what that is just it's a kind of a hardening agent and a processing that allows that metal, that softer metal, to become harder and withstand the pressures of the ball on the face of the club.
Yeah, so there's a ton of tech in there, and that's what I like about it is you mentioned all the tech. I really like the new sole, by the way. It's kind of like they've kind of softened and it's a soft beveled leading edge, kind of a harder sort of trail edge, and you can see it when you look at the sole, but you can see how it would be very effective getting right into the turf and right out, and then still giving you crisp contact with it. Yeah. Also, the materials, the chromalloy's back in the longer irons, and then the shorter irons are still kind of that forged, the mild carbon steel, I believe it is, which, you want that 8-9 pitching wedge. You want those clubs to have control. You want those to be a club that you feel confident, is going to be a consistent, do what you needed to do club. Whereas the longer irons, you want a little more forgiveness, a little more pop to them, and that's what that chromalloy provides. So the JPX 925 forged, it's going to be a really big iron. And again, I think it looks really, really good for being in the category that it is. I mean, pretty thin top line compared to, I think, others in its category. I think a lot of golfers will like that one. It's going to fit a large group of golfers, too.
It is. And one of the things with Mizuno is they have such a wide variety of offerings in terms of shafts and grips. And for them, those are included. There are some additional costing typed grips and or shafts, but the majority of all of the different offerings that they have for this are included in that price tag per club or per set. So it's not as if we wanted to get something that fits us maybe a little bit better than one shaft versus another, that we have to worry about all of a sudden adding even more cost to that set. The other thing that they've done with this is they have a new black satin.
Yes.
And what they haven't done this necessarily in a lot of their lineups. Once in a while, they've done some limited editions, some special coloring. They've done the all copper color for the Mizuno Pro lineup that they've had. they've also done kind of the blue ion that they're known for, that they were known for a lot more with their wedges, and that's still a color and a process that are in the wedges, but they've done a few of the iron sets, and now with this, there is a slight there is an additional charge to this, but you can get the black satin, and there are some shaft options that you may fit into that are also blacked out, so you can get kind of this whole black.
Which is, I think it looks really cool. Like it's purely an aesthetic thing, but it looks awesome. And if you're into that, it's pretty cool.
Call it a trend.
Yeah, no, seriously,
in certain ways. But man, every company has kind of been doing that. Yeah. One of the things I really like about Mizuno, because I've played the blue ion before in the wedges, is that color isn't just kind of a color put on top. That color is something that's actually blended in together with the metal. It's from the beginning, and so it's not just kind of splashing some black on top. The finish is probably a little more durable over time, and those are some of the things that I've noticed in the wedges. One of the easy ways to figure out if something's gonna kind of mark up is if you're interested in the black, is go over and take a look at chrome versus black wedges, if you have a chance.
Right. And in the store in the used section, and see how they are. Withstand the test of time.
Yeah, as a fitter, anyone asks me about wedges or about clubs, does this last? Go over and we'll look at wedges, because that's what happens. Yeah. That's what happens to them.
Yep. Totally. Yeah. Then we got to talk about the Pro S-3. So this is where things are changing a little bit for Mizuno, because in the past there's been a JPX Tour model. Instead, they're kind of starting or opening up potentially this Pro. This is a Pro S-3. It's kind of an extension of the Mizuno Pro line, where they're kind of adding this in there. So the S-3, I think it's really clean. I mean, it's it's a player's iron for one, but it's very compact. I think it's got a very clean, shallow cavity to it. Also, some kind of callbacks to there's the logo on there, the script on there. That's really clean and kind of calls out the legacy of what they've built with their forged irons.
Right.
I think the Mizuno loyalists would love these in the bag.
Oh yeah.
But I think there's a lot of players too that just the feel and how consistent they were in my testing, like same carry distance over and over. It seemed like was really cool to see.
I would look at it and I'd say the first thing that pops to my mind is traditional Mizuno. This is a very traditional Mizuno. They, over time, things have kind of morphed, and so you maybe see a little bit more weight on the blade here and a little bit more, a deeper pocket on this. But what they've done is they've kind of created something that's just this blend of like all of their very traditional types and styles. So it's very classic looking.
Yeah.
There's no one's going to go into this iron and go, well, man, I'm just going to get this thing to sail forever and ever. It's classified as a player's low to pro handicap style. It is gorgeous. Looks gorgeous. Feels really solid. Numbers on it, when we were talking about that in terms of the testing, very consistent numbers.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's, to your point about it's very traditional and it has that appearance, but I also think in a way it's modern, because I think more players are going away from blades. I mean, I'm talking about like high-level players.
Right.
You're seeing fewer and fewer of them playing blades because they see the benefit of maybe a shallow cavity.
Right.
And that's where I think this iron is going to be perfect for the modern, really good player that has played a blade or has the game for a blade, but just we want a little bit of help there. Shallow cavity with this Pro S-3 is going to be kind of the perfect combination of everything, where the classic look, feel, the copper underlay for the Mizuno feel that we've come to know and love.
Oh yeah.
And then that shallow cavity, it's going to be a big one. So really good year, I think, for Mizuno irons just with those two.
Yeah, with a couple of those irons, I think we're going to have a lot. We had last fall, we introduced the new hot metal lineup, so the 925 hot metal series. So we've got a couple of carryovers from Mizuno now. We still have the Mizuno Pro, the 3 different models that they came out with last year, and we're excited because I think this just adds to kind of the whole lineup. And so again, there's basically a club for every type of golfer we want to get into there. So
yeah, it's Mizuno always kills it with the irons. No different with these two. So yeah, great stuff with them. And again, it's a really good time to go get fit for Mizuno irons, as you just mentioned. All the models, there's an option for everybody. So yeah, great stuff on the JPX 925 Forged and the Pro S-3.